If you've been anywhere near the internet over the past few weeks, you've most likely seen this woman. This is Courtney Joelle Palmer, a 37-year-old stay-at-home mom or housewife, depending on what time of year it is. Others would describe her as a trad wife, meaning she promotes traditional gender roles in the household. If you knew nothing about her, you could probably scroll through her social media pretty quickly and see a quiet, affluent, mousy lady who's just out here living her life and sharing her daily routines with her followers. She may be borderline dangerously skinny and a little stuck up, but what could she possibly have done to warrant this kind of response? Currently sitting at over 7.5 million views on TikTok, this video was posted by Courtney on June 21st, 2025 as a backlog upload while she was on vacation in Mexico for her birthday. It quickly gained traction, sending Courtney into a storm of internet backlash. What is this? Why is she doing this? Is this like a sub-dom type of relationship? Is this princess treatment lifestyle her choice? Or is this internalized misogyny leading to an environment at home that is less than pleasant off camera? Is she okay? Is she healthy? Does she need help? Who is her husband? What is her story? In this video, I'm gonna try to do my best to answer all those questions for you because I watched through all of her content so you don't have to. And this girlie posts a lot, so let me just say, if you're grateful for that, please leave a like on this video, maybe even click subscribe because I'm on my way to 100,000 subscribers. We're getting really close. We're less than 3,000 away, so I would really appreciate it. And this video took a long time, so thank you if you subscribe. I appreciate it. Before we get into all of that though, I just want to take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's video, Factor. Listen dudes, it's summertime, and if you're a mom to school-aged children like I am, you know that summertime can be really hectic because the kids are home all day and every day. Your routines are messed up. You don't have time and energy to be focusing on yourself when you're running around taking care of everyone else around you. Sometimes I forget to feed myself, or I'll just spend all day grazing on snacks. Yeah, Pop-Tart? You don't say. But yeah, the snack thing, because I just don't have the mental capacity to cook a meal for myself. But Factor eliminates all that stress for you. The only thing that should be melting in this summer heat are your worries because Factor delivers fresh, never frozen, dietitian approved meals right to your doorstep. Take the stress out of meal planning, grocery shopping, and cooking and let Factor set you up for success. Instead of spending hours at a grocery store and far too long washing and prepping and cooking all those ingredients, you just take a Factor meal out of the refrigerator, plop it into the microwave for a few minutes, and there you have it. A chef-crafted meal will be in your belly in such a short amount of time that you'll end up having more time to spend doing whatever it is that you do during summer. In Factor recently started sending me meals with seafood in it, and honestly, like, I've never bought a microwavable meal with seafood in it just because I always assumed it'd be like way too easy to overcook, I guess. Like if you've had overcooked seafood, you know that is not an issue with Factor. Factor has sent me some like shrimp dishes before that are really good, but this time around they sent me a salmon teriyaki with rice and veggies, and it was incredible. Like, I love salmon. I could eat salmon with every meal, and Factor has gotten it so right. This meal is a must try, I swear, but hey, if you aren't into seafood, don't worry, Factor has plenty of options to meet everyone's tastes, like Calorie Smart, Keto, Protein Plus, or even veggie and vegan meals. So if you're ready to get started with Factor today, I have a special offer for you. Head to factor75.com or click the link below, use the code 50SavannahMarie, and you'll get 50% off, plus free shipping on your first Factor box. That's code 50SavannahMarie at factor75.com to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Thank you so much, Factor, for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's get into Courtney Joelle Palmer. So I want to split this video up into two parts. We need to talk about the whole princess treatment thing, of course, because that's what got the internet all riled up. But I also think we need to address her negative relationship with food and the dangerous influence that her lifestyle portrays to women who are just trying to navigate this world while also fitting society's beauty standards. I know it's easy to look at Courtney's content on a broad scale and just kind of be like, she's just living her life, leave the poor girl alone. But when you start looking into it deeper, there's a lot of problematic stuff going on here, and I want to talk about it. Before that though, let's talk about all the information that I've compiled about Courtney, her family, her husband, and their life together, thanks to the help of Reddit. That's where I found links to all of her old profiles and even her old fashion blog. And a few people have shown up on Reddit saying that they know her personally or knew her at one point in their lives. And the things that they're saying saying seem credible, but just know that everything I bring up from Reddit should be taken with a grain of salt. I wouldn't be telling you any of this if I didn't think it was true, and if they didn't seem to be corroborated by her old blog posts, but I'll let you draw your own conclusions. Okay, so here's what we know for sure. Courtney Joelle Palmer is currently 37 years old. She's been married to her husband for 18 years. His name is David Palmer, and he's the executive creative director at Thinking Box, which appears to be some kind of like ad agency for brands. I'm not really sure, but yup. Here's some old pictures of them from Courtney's old fashion blog where they looked normal and happy. The Reddit user Sleazy for Weasley filled us in on some alleged information about the couple, claiming that Courtney was once her neighbor and semi-friend about 10 years ago, until the Redditor moved and lost contact with the family. They claimed, "She was not like this when I knew her. What the fuck happened? She was Mormon then, but she was pretty cool, very opposite of this. She always seemed more like an independent feminist type. I remember when they left the church, I wasn't super surprised because it didn't seem to fit her feminist vibes. This is absolutely insane behavior. What is happening?" This ex-Mormon claim has been corroborated by other Reddit users on multiple different threads, claiming to have known her personally. According to Reddit user Weekly Speaker 3731, Courtney and David met in Rexburg, which is a town in Idaho whose population is estimated to be 95% Mormon. This is also the location of BYU, which is the college that the couple attended, and all of her old pictures do scream conservative Mormon, but at least she seemed normal and happy. Redditors claim Courtney and David left the LDS church probably over a decade ago. In all of her new content, she definitely seems far enough removed from the Mormon faith to believe that, since I've never heard her talk about religion, nor have I seen like a cross hanging on her wall or anything. Weekly Speaker also claims that the couple spent most of their married life in Idaho and Utah, aside from one singular year where they lived in New York City. If you didn't know any better, you'd probably look at Courtney's social media today and assume that she was an NYC influencer. I mean, she travels there often enough. She has enough content of her genuinely being in New York City, and her whole vibe is very hoity-toity NYC old money, in my opinion. The reality is, she lived in Idaho and Utah, moved to New York City for a year, and now she's back in Utah. Multiple people have speculated that the cost of living in New York was simply too high for them, so they moved back to a much cheaper part of the country in order to essentially cosplay as rich people. A few people on Reddit have even suggested that the couple has always rented out apartments and townhomes and have never actually owned their own home. Word on the street is, the couple isn't as wealthy as they'd like you to believe they are. One Reddit comment that cracked me up was this one, where they claimed when she lived in New York, she was caught on a security camera filming TikToks in front of a building that she didn't even live in. She doesn't have many TikToks from her New York days, but it was probably this video where she's awkwardly running back and forth across the street next to a lamppost that literally has the word fart carved into it. The Redditor claims that she actually lived in a pretty rundown apartment building when she filmed this, though. Courtney went to hair school when she was young, but it seems like she ended up getting her degree in interior design, I would assume from BYU if I had to guess. This would make sense why her home looks so immaculate and aesthetically pleasing. She got pregnant while finishing her last few college credits, and once their son was born in 2013, they moved so she could retire and be the stay-at-home mom her Mormon upbringing has always prepared her to be. And for a while, she was just a mom with a blog called A Fancy Day. At one point, she was also a doTERRA girly to the shock of none of us.
I'm just going to be talking about my favorite doTERRA essential oils.
A few years into the stay-at-home mom stuff, though, she decided to go back to work as an interior designer as her son entered his school years. This is also around the time she stopped posting to her blog. However, since being back in Salt Lake City after their short residency in New York, Courtney started saying that she's been promoted to stay-at-home mom.
You have been promoted.
Even though at this point her son is now 12 years old. He goes to school every day, so she's a housewife, basically. She'd pretty much fall under the term trad wife in internet language. She stays home, she cooks, she cleans, she does all the grocery shopping, etc. So that's the lifestyle most of her content is focused around. Which, let me just put this out here now. If this is your choice, if this is the lifestyle you want to lead, fine. I don't have a traditional job either. I've been staying home with my 4-year-old son ever since he was born. I see nothing wrong with women being out of the traditional workforce, and I see no problem with women staying home to be a homemaker if that's what they desire. Just as long as that old pesky husband of yours isn't forcing you into that lifestyle to be the trad wife of his misogynistic dreams. Just want to put that out there before we get into the nitty-gritty. Courtney started regularly posting her trad wife stuff to TikTok in February of 2025. As we know, she used to run a fashion blog, and she also used to dabble in YouTube over 10 years ago, so she's no stranger to trying to build a following online. One of her first videos she posted to TikTok was her stay-at-home mom outfit of the day, which is so dressed up. As a stay-at-home mom myself, I'm over here wearing jammies for 2 days in a row, slouching around like a slug, and she's out here putting an entire outfit on and makeup and accessories every single day. Hell no, that's not a stay-at-home mom outfit, dude. Apparently, I'm not the only person who felt this way, because eventually she started saying, oh, I guess I'm not really a stay-at-home mom, I'm just a housewife. Although now, since it's summer and her kid is out of school, she's back to saying she's a stay-at-home mom again, so I guess it just depends on what time of year it is for her. Courtney's TikTok presence consists of very similar vibes to every New York City influencer ever. Everything's about the aesthetics. She's doing Pilates every day. She's having pretty coffee every day. She shops at name brand clothing stores. She does high-end product reviews. She lives in Chanel ballerina flats as if she never left the year 2006. And she gets all of her groceries from Whole Foods and Trader Joe's. Girly Pop would not be caught dead at a Kroger. I will say that some of her content is valuable in the world of stay-at-home moms and homemakers and stuff. I actually appreciate the way that she organizes her day and shares her schedules and her routines. She refers to each part of her day as shifts, which obviously is a strange word choice. It sounds a little bit alarming at first, but I understand it. So like, her first morning shift is when she wakes up. She does morning skincare and journaling, then she takes her kid to school. Her second morning shift is when she runs errands and does Pilates. Her midday shift is when she eats lunch and she does what she calls a mini reset. So she basically is just cleaning and organizing the house for an hour or so. Her mid-afternoon shift is when she picks her son up from school and has dinner. And then after her son goes to sleep, she has her final shift of the day where she takes a shower and does all her self-care rituals and then reads until bedtime. That is something I could never dream to attain right now in my life of raising a 4-year-old, but I would like to become more organized once he's in school. So I do find value in a lot of her content, and I actually do like the shift idea. So that's why I was saying earlier that some people could get defensive when they see people slinging hate at her, because, you know, she doesn't really seem to be bothering anyone. She's just living her life and we should all just leave her alone. She makes her own butter, for goodness sake. She's not harming anyone. Just let the woman do Pilates and make some homemade butter. However, here comes the toxicity, and where I believe that we need to be paying attention. I struggled with how I wanted to present this section here because the viral video we all came here for actually is an outlier from her other princess treatment videos for a lot of reasons. The viral video was posted on June 21st, 2025, and it's 5 minutes long. I reacted to it on a live stream with my friend Aaron Bees before I even knew anything about Courtney Joelle Palmer, so if you want to watch that live stream and see my initial reaction, I'll have it linked. But I'll tell you right now that I feel very differently after watching through the rest of her content. I'm not going to play the entire video here, but I've created a montage of all of her main points, just so you can get a feel for the vibe of this video and understand why it went viral, currently sitting at nearly 8 million views on TikTok.
If I am at a restaurant with my husband, I do not talk to the hostess, I do not open any doors, and I do not order my own food. Me and my husband pulled up to a restaurant. We didn't have a reservation, so we wanted to go up and see if it was possible for us to get in. I sat in the car while he ran in and asked them. So he comes back out, opens my car door, walks me into the restaurant, opens the door, and I stand and wait. I did not make eye contact with the hostess, did not talk to her. I waited until my husband came back. You're not gonna go up to the hostess and give the reservation name. You're not gonna talk to her. You're just letting your husband lead and be masculine. He made the reservation. Let him do the logistics. You're just being a princess. You don't need to talk unless you are spoken to. And then if you are spoken to and they ask, you could just say, oh, I'm just waiting for my husband, and then he'll be able to give the reservation. If the waiter addresses you first, I will simply just look at my husband, and then my husband will order. You don't need to over speak, over exert yourself. You can be feminine and soft and quiet. The most elegant, lovely women are often soft-spoken and don't overspeak. they're not loud. You're not going to be laughing loudly, speaking loudly, demanding the attention of the room when you're at a restaurant. You take the napkin, put it in your lap immediately at the coat check. Don't go up and wait and ask for the coat check. Wait for your husband to come back, and then he can take your coat off and give it to the coat check. So anything really, you're just waiting for your husband to do it.
As you can see, the way that she's presenting this information seems very oppressive. Like she's acting this way because this is the way she's been raised to believe that this is how women behave. This is what it means to be a woman. This is how you live in femininity. You as a woman are not permitted to talk to waitstaff. You're far too small and dainty to open a door by yourself. You need a man to do these things for you, or else you're gonna lose your femininity. You must preserve your feminine energy and not overexert yourself by, laughing or speaking loudly. Keep sweet and obey. As she presents this information, she doesn't smile once. She's very stoic and emotionless. She's not acting like a human. She's acting like a robot, an object. None of this appears to be done in her own willingness, but instead to please her husband and to make him feel happy and secure. And as I'm sure you can imagine, the backlash was swift and intense. This is fucking insane behavior, LMAO, God forbid you make contact with the hostess. Wholly internalized misogyny, this woman's outlook is incredibly sad. I wonder till how long a waiter calls the cops, thinking the woman is being controlled and being held against her will. I'm sorry, but addressing the hostess or waiter is neither masculine or feminine, it's just polite. She doesn't look well, poor woman. That was a whole lot of words to over-explain a preference for oppression. Oh, housework's enough for me. She wants to be a perfect Stepford wife, emotionless, robot-like, and created to be perfectly docile and subservient wife. Those are just some of the comments that I pulled from Reddit. She actually has most of her comments restricted on her TikTok or turned off completely on some videos, so I couldn't pull comments from there. But plenty of other TikTokers made video responses to her.
My husband gives me princess treatment wherever I go, usually within a 3-mile radius of home.
Knock, knock. Hi, Courtney. My name's Amanda. I'm gonna be your nurse today. Can you tell me what you came in for? Why are you here today? What's your main complaint? Courtney, can you tell me your name and date of birth? Courtney?
This message is to Jenny and my husband. I will no longer be able to do absolutely anything, including but not limited to opening doors or even breathing in the same room.
Let's talk about princess treatment when I am at the doctor. So when I go to the doctor for my female checkup, first of all, I do not acknowledge the receptionist.
Another question that I'm getting about princess treatment. If you go out to dinner and your husband orders you something that you're allergic to, what do you do? Telling him that you're allergic to it or that you would prefer something else would be very emasculating, so you're not going to say anything.
For my birthday, he constructed a moat between the Whole Foods and the Family Dollar, so I don't have to worry anymore.
You guys keep asking me what I think of this woman. I think she's about as interesting as uncooked pasta.
I mean, your vitals look fine. Can you look right here? Just checking your pupils really quick.
Constantly promoting this princess treatment. She thought that this was her moment.
This woman is just, to me, boring. With a great bob, though.
My husband says, my wife is here for the OBGYN. And the receptionist says, okay, is she ready to be seen? And then all I have to do is look at my husband, and I look at him like this, and then he says, she's ready to be seen.
This is just willfully, acting like a child. Like, you could just simply say, he's a dom, I'm a sub. This is how we get our sexual kicks.
Whenever we go to Romano's Macaroni Grill, my husband drops me off like a kindergartner at carpool, and I approach the host stand. As I'm waiting for him to arrive, I will stare directly at the POS tablet powered by toast and let my collarbones do the talking. This one says I went to BYU, Better Than You University, and this one says please help. I have been trying to escape for the last 37 years.
If you go into anaphylaxis and you have your EpiPen on you, I would not use it. I would simply die.
Can you just blink if you're in there? Can you do something? Look at me. Watch my finger.
I'm sorry, you just sound like an absolute nightmare. I know you don't like me, and I can't blame you.
They tell me to put on the gown and remove my clothes. So I just look at my husband. I just have to look at him like this. And he'll say, should I take off my clothes and put on the gown? And then the doctor says, No, she has to because she's the female.
I saw a lot of control. I saw a lot of perfectionism. And if I had to take the wildest guess, I bet she comes from an extremely Puritan family, say their last name was Johnson, where she grew up being told, Johnsons don't talk like that. Johnsons don't dress like that. Johnsons do not date those people.
So she's pushing what I would call a lifestyle that is entitled princess treatment, or what I would call how to be horrible to waitstaff.
When we are finally seated, I let my husband read the menu out loud to me, and I raise my eyebrows ever so slightly if I notice something I would like a nibble of.
Hey, you need some help? Yeah, hey, I'm glad you came. So I don't know what to do with this lady. She's been in here for like 15 minutes. She's not said one word. I don't even know if her husband's here. She just came by herself and she's just not saying anything.
Willfully giving up your voice, your power, your ability to support yourself. Yeah.
Using an EpiPen at a restaurant is not going to look very feminine. It's going to cause a lot of attention. People are going to be looking at you. You're going to take the focus away from your husband.
When I go to a restaurant, I'm a princess, so no, I'm not supposed to look at anything. My husband looks at everything for me. That's why I have a satin blindfold.
What does she come in for? For like failure to thrive?
Now, there's a conversation about whether she's in an abusive relationship, whether she's a submissive who needs, help, or she's a perfectionist. There's a lot of layers to what she has going on.
He walks me into the restaurant. I don't look at anyone. I keep the tape on my mouth until we sit down because then I'm gonna have to eat. But this is princess treatment. I'm not supposed to have to do anything.
You seem like a nightmare asshole. There's no other way to put it. This isn't princess treatment. This is just called being an asshole.
Really, at the end of the day, the most feminine thing that you can be is dead.
Courtney, you're gonna be fine. We're just calling a code stroke. We're gonna go for a CT scan real quick, okay?
Last time the server asked me to tell him when, and because I don't speak a waitstaff, he kept cranking and cranking and cranking and cranking the Parmesan until I disappeared into a cloud of cheese.
I always thought one of the things about being a princess was that you were kind, that you were gracious, that you were hospitable. And nothing about this comes off as this. This just comes off as like, I'm above making direct eye contact with a server.
If you want to be helpless and you want to act like a child and you like being dominated, get your kicks, girl. Not trying to, but passing it off as this whole trad wife princess treatment, that's some white lady shit.
My husband orders for me. And by ordering for me, I mean he orders 2 foods for himself because one of them he's gonna have to pre-chew so that he can then put it in my IV drip so that way I can digest it.
I also, of course, need to bring up that there is a lot of discourse surrounding the situation regarding whether or not it's a kink. So before you go off commenting being like, it's clearly just the sexual thing. This is clearly their kink. I'm recognizing that talking point here as well, but I'll get into my theories about all that at the end of this segment. As you can see, many people had issues with this video. Most of them seeming to think that she is a victim of her misogynistic husband's overruling fist in the household who wants to have his family to have the traditional family values. But we don't know David Palmer. He's not told his side of the story. He may very well be playing into this. He could totally be a misogynistic asshat for all we know. And I do have some theories about all that as well, but again, I'm saving it for later. We'll get to it. People who watched this video felt like she was saying women need to be quiet, that they need to be seen and not heard, and that this was a very regressive way of behaving. And, it's not actually feminism at all. It's quite the opposite. Interestingly enough, though, this video was just kind of one that she had set up to auto post in her drafts or something, because she posted it while she was on vacation with her family in Tulum, Mexico. Imagine being on vacation and then going viral randomly while you're in a foreign country. I would freak out. Her followers doubled almost overnight. And at first she seemed to be enjoying riding this wave of attention until the hate that Courtney was receiving got so bad that she ended up deactivating her TikTok account for about 2 days. She's back now, although many of her videos have comments turned off. Occasionally you'll find new comments on an old video of people giving her shit like, you went out to coffee by yourself? Who ordered it for you? And one that I thought was really funny actually was while she was in Tulum, she posted this video of her barefoot on the beach and someone said, is he wearing your shoes for you? But most of these comments are pretty mean and nasty, especially considering that many of these people were viewing her as an oppressed woman who's basically being imprisoned by her husband. Before her video went viral, she was running a book club and she would go live on her TikTok to talk about the book that she would be reading that month. But she felt like she couldn't do that anymore because people were attacking her from all directions. She recently put all of her live streams behind a paywall. Honestly, it makes sense. I would probably do the same thing. That didn't stop at least one person from paying to get in though, and they screen recorded Courtney talking about the haters.
They're obsessed because they don't understand and want to make a problem out of nothing. Yeah, and like there's literally, they're making a problem out, I think, out of nothing, but also I'm like, there's so many people who get on here and do like crazy things. They say crazy things that's controversial. It's actually hurtful. Like, why, what's the obsession with me? I don't know. They must like be on some kind of trail of, or train of finding things to hate. And then I've truly just never seen other people being like bullied or hated. And maybe that's just not the content that I consume, but people are like, oh, they'll be on to the next. And I'm like, but how do they even find that? Like, how do they even find the next thing to hate on?
None of us can say how we would react if this were to happen to us until it happens to us. And quite frankly, I think she's handling things pretty well, all things considered. Like, she hasn't had a major crash out. So I think she's doing okay. But anyway, after watching just that one video, it seems pretty cut and dry to you, I'm sure, right? You probably either think that this is a kick or she's in an abusive relationship with a controlling man who wants to have traditional family values. I, on the other hand, am here to tell you that I don't personally think it's that simple. This princess treatment video is only one of many. And like I said earlier, it's kind of an outlier. I watched through all of her content and this one video that went viral is drastically different from her other princess treatment content. Like, the vibe is totally different. This next section here is kind of going to be rapid fire-ish because I have a lot of examples to go through. On February 12th, 2025, Courtney posted her first princess treatment video where she shows a screenshot of an unprompted text from her husband that says, "It's almost Valentine's Day, I can't wait to celebrate it with you," alongside a picture of her side table with fresh flowers and a note from her husband. So the point of this video is to teach her audience how they too can receive the kind of special treatment from their significant others as well. And her advice is to start making mood boards, also referred to as a vision board. We've all seen these, right? All of the influencer girlies like to make one at the beginning of the year to essentially manifest what they want to happen to them in the coming year. Courtney is huge on manifestation and mood boards. She makes one for every month and every major holiday and her birthday, which is fine. I don't see an issue with a girly making mood boards. It's harmless. The manifestation stuff she does is pretty weird though, because she says she's manifesting a Range Rover by going into the dealerships and sitting in the cars and touching the cars so that she has a physical memory to look back at while she's manifesting her future Range Rover.
And then on top of that, I have gone to the Range Rover, what is it called? Facility. I've like sat in the car, I've touched it, I felt it. So I have like an actual physical memory of me in a Range Rover. And so it's easy to manifest that and think about that because I have sat in it and I can visualize myself sitting in it because I've already physically done it.
Again, mostly harmless, but I do feel bad for dealership employees who are probably like expecting to get a sale out of her, only for her to sit in a car, maybe even take it for a test drive, and then get up and be like, all right, thanks, bye. It's kind of bizarre and inconsiderate behavior, but whatever. If she wants to be a manifesting weirdo like that, more power to her. Back to the mood boards though. So she explains that whenever she wants a princess treatment for a holiday or a night out or something, like Valentine's Day in this example, she makes a mood board for Valentine's Day and she sends it to her husband. And then when he's planning the day for them, he knows what her expectations are. She says she's just communicating what she wants from him, and this is her way of doing that, which fine. But she also kind of talks about her husband like he's a dog that she's had to train.
Now granted, this did take some years and some time to train him to understand this and like get what I wanted. But the point is, we're telling him what we want. We're not leaving it up to chance.
You're gonna start noticing a trend here where she's talking about men, specifically her husband in a lot of these cases, but men in general. She talks about them like they're dopes. Like they don't know their partner's good enough to be able to curate a good time for them on Valentine's Day. So she needs to be the one that's in control of everything. And I just want to bring up that if the roles were reversed, this whole conversation would be very different. We'd all be calling it an oppressive and relationship, and I'm all for men being held accountable for their centuries and millennia of oppressing women, and even still systematically today. And I'm all for like the empowerment of women and the belief that we don't need no man. But Courtney crosses a lot of lines in this whole princess treatment thing, and I'm gonna be pointing them out as I see them. And if something is happening in a situation where I start to feel bad for the man, then that's a big red flag. That is a problem. Let's just keep that in mind as we go along here. In this video, Courtney talks about having the man open the door for you, but the tone she uses is quite different from her viral princess video.
Never open a door for yourself. When you're going into a restaurant, don't open the door. Coming out of a restaurant, don't open a door. Stand there. Wait till he comes. Let him open it. This includes a car door. I will sit in the car until he comes and opens that car door for me. Sometimes I have to wait a minute, but I do not get out until he comes over. Same with getting into the car. Do not get into the car until he comes and opens the door. Just stand there until he comes and opens the door. I will not order my own food at a restaurant. I tell him what I want, and then he can tell the waiter what I want to eat.
It's almost aggressive, and it's clear that this treatment that she's receiving is her desire. She is the one controlling this entire thing. She will sit on her butt in that car for as long as it takes for her husband to realize that he needs to open the car door for her. And that doesn't seem like open communication to me. It seems like a bit of a mind game. And she basically confirms that at the end of the video by saying, I didn't tell him I wanted this treatment, I just started doing it one day.
All these things I did without announcing. I just decided one day I was going to do them, and I just did it. Stopped ordering my food, told him what I wanted, would just sit in the car until he would come over. I think like the very first time, and even sometimes later, I'll just sit there for like 3 minutes, and then he'll come over and be like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I was just waiting for you to open the door. Don't say like, oh, I wish you'd open the door for me. Why don't you open the car door for me? Just wait when he opens the door, because he will. He's going to be like, what are you doing? You can just say, I was waiting for you to open the door. Thank you so much for opening the door. Get out of the car and just walk on to where you need to go.
In this video, she also explains how she makes him carry her places randomly because she just doesn't feel like walking anymore.
One's a little weirder, but I randomly just started to have him carry me places. Like today after lunch, I was like, I don't feel like walking to the car. He just carried me to the car.
Mind you, this woman is like 85 pounds soaking wet, so I doubt that it's difficult for him to carry her. I just think about how I would react if I saw this happening in person. Like, I would probably be like, aw, the poor girl had too many mimosas at brunch. But she really has no other excuse besides like, I just don't feel like walking. Servant boy. You know what I mean? This video alone made me feel bad for her husband. When I watched it at first, I was really confused. I was like, what is this feeling? Because I came into this thinking that David was gonna be the one oppressing her. I thought it was gonna be the sad life of a trad wife. I really thought that's what this video was gonna be, but no. Suddenly, I started feeling bad for David. What is happening? This is what it feels like to feel bad for a man in America? Like, what? Then in this next video, she explains how she got him to buy her flowers every week.
I told my husband maybe like 3 or 4 weeks ago, I said, I don't feel like you're getting me enough flowers. I don't feel like you're writing me enough notes. And he was like, well, I think about it. And I said, well, thinking about it isn't really doing it. And if you really wanted to, you would. Ever since then, I have been getting flowers weekly. Weekly flowers, you guys.
Need I remind you that at this point, he had just become the sole income earner of the entire household? Courtney had recently stopped working while he had to go to a job every day, which, listen, like, I know being a stay-at-home mom is a full-time job. I know it's hard to keep a house clean with little ones around. My house is always a disaster. I get it. But really, what is this attitude? She just seems extremely ungrateful to have a man who's leaving the home every day and running off to financially support her while she sits at home making TikToks talking about how hard it is for her to train him. I mean, at least she told him what she wanted this time, instead of just sitting around and waiting for him to do the thing that she wants. But it's almost like guilt tripping, just like she does in this next video.
My best friend, actually, her husband was traveling as well, and she told me this idea, and I did it to my husband, and it worked. So she said to her husband, I want you to get creative with what you're gonna do for me to kind of repay me for all the labor and extra time I've been putting in while you've been gone. And my husband has been gone for like 3 weeks. It's like every other week he's having to go somewhere. Okay, ready to go. It's like his second trip within the month. And he's packing, and I very calmly say, you know, you've been traveling a lot. I would love for you to get creative with how you're gonna pay me back for all the extra labor that I've been putting in while you've been gone. And so he's like, okay, yeah, like that sounds fair. He leaves to go on the trip. I assume I'll get a little gift when he comes back. And he calls me while he's there. And he's like, hey, I'm at this Chanel. What size ballet flat are you? When I pick him up from the airport, he has this bag waiting for me. Buys me a pair of brand new ballet flats, and you guys know I wear my ballet flats every single day. A brand new pair of Chanel. It's waiting for me.
So let me get this straight. She basically guilt-tripped her husband into buying her expensive designer shoes, which that style of shoe, as far as I know, has not been in style for like 15 years. And he got them for her as a form of repayment for all the extra work she's supposedly doing while he's away. But like, he's working that entire time also. Girl, it's not like he left you to go on vacation with the boys. He had to travel for work. And again, yes, I appreciate when my husband comes home from work every day and gives me a bit of a break from parenting duties, because it is mind-numbing work sometimes. I go stir crazy a lot just being here in this house all the time with kids. It can really get mentally exhausting. So like, I get it. I know how much work being a stay-at-home mom can be, because I also am one. But Courtney, you have one child and he's 12 years old. It's not like you're changing his diapers and constantly nursing him or making him bottles, and you're not chasing him around the house and cleaning up all of his messes, and you're not bathing him, and you're not rocking him to sleep, and just like constantly making sure you have an activity to do. Like, a 12-year-old is capable of fulfilling a lot of those self-care needs and entertaining himself. So like, what extra work are you doing? But also, here's another thing, is that with David out of the house, especially for like weeks at a time, she says, that's one less person for her to clean up after and feed and worry about. So again, I ask, what extra work are you doing? She is acting like he's just like out on an excursion having fun without her, when the reality is he's probably having a way more stressful time than she is. I'm sorry, but I just could never see myself demanding something like this from my husband. The mind games continue though, because in this next video, she proves even further that this isn't about communication with him. This is about playing mind games.
You're gonna act unbothered by things. You're not gonna send him 20 paragraphs explaining how you feel. You're not gonna whine and cry and be hysterical about things that he's done or hasn't done. Unbothered. For example, my husband was at a work dinner this week. He said he'd be home at 6. It was 7 o'clock. I did not text him. I'm not gonna bother him while he was at this work dinner. I was not gonna be hounding him, asking when he's coming home. I didn't say a word. So when he came in at 7, we were busy. Life went on without him. And that's how you want him to feel. You want him to feel like he's grasping for your attention. I will often say, I don't have time for this. I don't have the emotional bandwidth to deal with this. You will figure it out. Overall vibe is you're unbothered by him. He's not upsetting you. He's not making you hysterical. That doesn't mean you're making life easy for him. You're not being a whatever girl and just like, oh yeah, treat me however you want. You're just not being hysterical, because that's somewhat removal from him. He's gonna want to chase you. Why isn't she responding? Why isn't she upset? Why isn't she whining, crying, whatever it may be? Oh, maybe she's detaching from me. I want to come back to her. I want to bring her back in. Just be unbothered. You're not upset. We're not writing paragraphs. We're not crying. We're unbothered because we are so busy. We have so much going on. There's so much for us to do. I don't have time to take on the energy or the stress or like whatever it is that he's got going on. I don't have time for that. I got to get my nails done. I've got to get my hair done. I need to do Pilates. I need to drink my tea. I'm unbothered.
Like, after listening to this video, I am more inclined to say that this is an emotionally abusive relationship, but like on her end, towards him. In relationships, communication is so important. If something upsets you, even if it's something really small, you know, you should communicate that to your partner, because they might not know that they did something wrong, especially if it's something really small. And then if you don't address it, that behavior could just continue. And in some of her videos, she seems to emphasize the importance of like communicating what it is you want. But here she's like, we're just unbothered now. Like, this feels like high school bullshit. You're playing mind games that make a man want to chase after you. When she uttered the sentence, make him feel like life goes on without him, I was honestly flabbergasted, because like, I would never want my husband to feel that way. I always want him to feel appreciated and loved. Courtney seems to want to confuse her husband, and to me, that just feels emotionally abusive. So at this point, I'm like, how happy is their marriage? Because some of these videos, she's like, wow, we're so in love. We live in a fairy tale. Everything's amazing. But then in others, I'm like, why do you feel like you need to act that way towards him? He's out there working all day, sometimes multiple days straight in a different place other than his home. And you have the nerve to shut him out like that? It's so alienating. It makes me sad to think about. But then that brings up the question, well, does David feel guilty about something? And so he's going along with this to appease her and beg for her forgiveness? Or is he like equally as emotionally on his end that we don't see, and that's what's making her play mind tricks right back, you know? Like, there has to be something. Either way, I don't think this relationship is healthy. It is emotionally manipulative from Courtney's side for sure, but I do suspect that there's a possibility that David might have some shortcomings of his own, because most people don't just like randomly start acting like this, you know? What was the catalyst? There had to be something. I don't know, that's just my opinion. In another video, she kind of explains this whole princess treatment thing like it's women empowerment, designed for women to put themselves first.
Where does princess treatment level start? It starts with you. How you talk about yourself, how you talk about yourself out loud to him, it matters. How you value yourself, how you value your space, it all matters. It starts with you. My husband always treated me well. I felt like I was always adored by him, but this level of treatment that I'm getting, this is newer within the past like 3 years. If he says to you, you look so beautiful today, say thank you. Or sometimes, often I'll say, I know, I do look really good. Or I'll say, I love that jacket. And I'll say, I love this jacket. You're not gonna say, oh, this thing, oh, this is just from Zara. Or, oh no, I look bad. Or my makeup looks bad. Or my hair, yada, yada, yada. You keep that to yourself. You're not gonna speak poorly in front of him. Pour into yourself. Are you drinking your water? Are you going to your workout class? Are you eating healthy? Are you doing the things that make you feel good? Whatever the thing is for you that brings you joy, start doing that. Unapologetically.
Most women deserve better than what they have at any given moment. I am here for all of that. But in this case, if we are to believe that David really is just some loving husband who dotes on his wife because he's just so in love with her, is she putting herself first at the expense of her husband's emotional well-being and self-esteem? In this next video, I'm just gonna put together a little montage of the ridiculous stuff that she says in regards to how to move in a feminine way.
When I walk into a room, I'm gonna have my shoulders back. I'm not gonna have my arms crossed, like hunching and making myself smaller. I am the prize, I am the princess, I wanna be seen. So my shoulders are back, my arms are down by my side, maybe I'm holding my bag, or maybe they're, you know, crossed in front of me. Or if I'm walking with my husband, I'm gonna put my arm in the like crook of his elbow. You know, maybe I have it with my ring finger so you can see my ring, you can see my nails, you can see that I am with him and he is in charge. And you're gonna talk to him and address him, and I am just here to be pretty. If I'm alone, open the door slowly. I walk into the space. I'm looking around, assessing what's going on before I enter. Walk up to the register slowly and make eye contact with the cashier. I tell them very clearly what I want to order. I say thank you. I ask how their day's going. Sorry, I have Diet Coke burps. I'm moving slowly. I'm not rummaging through my purse. I'm not gathering my things up when I'm down and like hurrying out of the way. I'm taking my time. I'm taking up the space that I need to because I am a feminine princess. You're aware of your body and you're aware of what everyone else is doing. In practice at the grocery store, like I'm pushing my cart slowly, calmly. I'm opening up the produce bag. I'm putting the produce in. I'm not hurrying. I'm not trying to get out of the way for somebody else. I don't have to be anxious. I don't have to be rushed. I'm composed. I'm put together. I'm clean. I'm neat. I'm tailored.
So if we don't behave this way, are we not feminine? If someone is in a hurry, are they not feminine? Because like I don't go to a grocery store very often, mostly because of reasons like this and like dealing with people. But if I do find myself in a grocery store, you better get out of my damn way, because I don't want to be spending any more time in that damn store than I have to. And there is nothing I hate more than being behind people who walk slow. I am a short person. I have short legs. And if I am walking faster than you, there's a problem. I have to take more strides than you, and I have to do them faster to keep up with you. And if you're still walking slower than me, it's going to drive me crazy. Meanwhile, Courtney's over here just like, I walk slow because I'm feminine. Okay, well then I guess I'm not feminine then, because my time is valuable and I don't want to spend my time in a grocery store with a bunch of other people who walk slow. And then she says this magnificent line.
For the most part, you are unbothered by everybody else. You are in your own precious little princess bubble. And these people don't really matter in the long run. So you use all this feminine energy, practice talking to other people like this. So when you come home and talk to your husband, you've kind of done all this practice on these people that don't really, matter in the long run in your relationship.
These people don't matter in the long run? Girl, do you see people as human beings? Do you not care about the experience of people around you? Like, she literally said, I'm a princess, I'm in my own little princess bubble. But then she also tries to say at the same time she's aware of what's going on around her. Girl, I don't think you are. I think you're putting yourself on a pedestal above everybody else. Everyone is just trying to exist alongside you and go through their day, and you're making it really hard for us to do that when you are trying to be in control of everyone else around you. It feels self-absorbed as hell. In regards to how to dress for princess treatment, what she says is pretty damn tone deaf.
Okay, so first is like how much skin you're gonna show, the materials that you pick, the quality of the material, how's the construction of this being made, the colors. Like, I wear a lot of neutral colors, but I'm not wearing unnatural colors that you wouldn't find in nature. It's not like screaming at you, and it's not crazy patterns, it's not glittered, and there's not sequins. The way that things are tailored can make a big difference. It's not too small, it fits you well, it drapes on your body well. If the bag you're holding is tattered and falling apart, and the zipper doesn't work, or your wallet is falling apart and the leather has started to crack and it doesn't close properly, or it's too full, like, take care of your bag and the things that, don't overstuff it. But if you need a new bag, maybe go get a new bag. And say, like, your bras and your underwear, like, do they match? Are they nicer? We're not wearing, Hanes underwear where it's like purple.
Hey, Courtney, most of us can't afford shit right now. We can't afford to buy nice clothes and nice designer handbags. It's easy for you to say your bag should be made well and it shouldn't be falling apart when you're out here just with a plethora of designer bags. Oh, and apparently hoodies aren't feminine now?
And the hoodie just doesn't feel very feminine to me. I don't want to wear a hoodie.
Get out of here with that stuff, dude. I am going to wear a hoodie when I want to wear a hoodie. They're cozy and they're comfy, and I will still feel feminine as hell. So shut up. Okay, this one threw me for a loop. The caption says, texted my husband I needed gas and he said meet at the gas station in 10 minutes. He pumped my gas while on a call. Gas pump? Never heard of it. When I saw this video, I told my husband about it and I can't even recreate the face he made because this is so damn stupid. He is working. He is busy financially supporting your wild lifestyle, and you have the nerve to pull him from his duties because you don't want to pump your own gas? The title on this one says, too delicate to touch a pump. To his credit, he usually does this at night, but he's been out of town and the routine has been off. But to me, that doesn't make this any better. She goes out running errands and drinking coffee every single day, but she would rather inconvenience her husband on his downtime to go take her car to be refueled instead of, refueling it herself while she's already out doing other things. It's just beyond inconsiderate of her husband's time. It's at this point where she reiterates that she wants to be carried places, but it's also the first of many times where she brings up that she doesn't even want to tie her own shoes.
A princess, doesn't tie her shoes. A princess is carried around on a fluffy pink pillow. I personally want to be treated like a princess. I want to be carried around. I don't want to have to think too hard. I don't want to have to tie my shoes. If it's raining, I want to be carried through the puddle.
Here's the thing. When we are children, we all fantasize about this kind of treatment because we're used to being carried around and having someone else tie our shoes for us because we're 4 years old. When you're old enough to tie your own shoes, you tie your own damn shoes, as long as you're physically capable of doing so. Hearing her say this feels childish. It feels very baby-brained to me. It's not realistic, and having these thoughts and desires does not add up to making you a productive member of society. Yes, all of us would like to never have to worry about anything ever, but that is not reality. And I don't think that she recognizes her privileges to be able to realistically live this unrealistic lifestyle. Unrealistic for the rest of us anyway, is what I mean. And then this is one of many examples where she holds her husband's hand while he's driving a car with a manual transmission, and she does not let go of his hand when he needs to shift gears. So he takes his other hand off the steering wheel to shift. Dude, this is stupid. This is dangerous. I have held my husband's hand while he's driving before, but we drive automatic cars, so he at least has one hand on the steering wheel when he does that. But I even know that I shouldn't do that either. But this can seriously hurt somebody. And for what? Because you need your husband to put holding your small, fragile, dainty little hand above the well-being of everyone else around you? It's ridiculous. Here's yet another stupid one deserving of a quick montage of her points.
The other thing that I will not do is turn off my own lamp at night and make him get up and walk around the bed and turn the lamp off. Don't take out the trash, make him do that. I do not leave my house after 4 p.m. I also don't deal with like a bank. Like I never am tying my own shoe. I don't ever make a drink for myself, like an alcoholic drink at home. I would never make a drink for myself. On top of that, I don't ever get myself water. Like he fills up my water bottle. He does the water refill for me. Sometimes if I'm showering with my husband, I'll just make him like wash my whole body. Sometimes I can't like get all the armpit hair in my armpit for some reason. It's like hard to do by myself. So then I'll like I'll make him shave my armpits.
She makes her husband shave her armpits. No, girl, this is awful. Although the whole like making my husband wash my whole body for me thing can definitely fall under territory. They're alone in the shower together and they're not harming anyone, so like that's not a huge deal. It's just weird. Like I personally wouldn't want anyone shaving my armpits for me because I feel like it'd be really easy to get cut. The skin under there is not taut, you know? Having someone else do it for you just sounds like razor burn cut city. So I'll do it myself, thanks. This one is funny to me because it's another one where I can just imagine seeing it happen in public. She says if they're walking together and he starts walking faster than her, she'll just stop and stand there.
So a long time ago, a very long time ago, like when we were first married, my husband would walk so fast. He would walk way ahead of me and it drove me crazy. I did not handle this in a well princess way. But one thing I did do is I would stop walking. If he was way ahead of me, I would just stop and stand there until he realized I wasn't there. Then he would turn around and be like, oh my gosh, and run back to me. And I would be like, it's so rude that you're walking ahead of me. So instead of saying that, I would say something very sweet like, oh, I love to walk with you. I love to put my arm in the crook of your elbow or whatever this is called. We need to figure this out. I love to put my arm in the crook of your elbow and I love when we walk together. It makes me, I love when you protect me as we're walking around. I love that we get to walk together and enjoy this time together. Like say some like soft feminine thing, but don't let your husband or boyfriend walk 50 paces ahead of you.
Can you imagine how strange it would be to see this happen in person? I would honestly think that something is physically wrong with her. I'd be like, do you need to sit down? Are you feeling dizzy? Are you okay? Do you need me to call you an ambulance? Ma'am. Courtney also gives dating advice to women who are looking for what she calls a provider man, and here are some of her suggestions.
What you bring to the table is nothing financial. What you bring to the table is you. He provides you the table, and then you decorate it. He's giving you all the tools, and then you as the woman, the soft, feminine woman, who has these hobbies and has educated herself and she has interest and she's soft and she's sweet and she's loving and she's a nurturer, can build with all that she's been provided with. I take care of myself. I'm confident. I have studied and learned the way to cook and to build a home. You're pouring into you because at the end of the day, that's the gift. That's the thing he's looking for, is an amazing wife and mother, someone he can take to work functions who's not going to embarrass him, who dresses nicely, who presents nicely. She's soft-spoken. She's not going to be at a dinner and laughing. She knows how to act in certain rooms. Are you taking care of yourself? Are you working out? Are you eating properly? Are you learning how to dress for your body? Are you practicing hobbies? Are you learning etiquette? Do you know how to eat at a table? Do you know how to make small talk? Like you are a well-rounded, soft, feminine woman that he can take out and show off. If you want to be a housewife and you want to find a high-value man, you can't come in with nothing. Like when she says bring to the table, you're bringing yourself. You are the prize. You're taking care of yourself. You're working out. You're drinking your water. You're eating healthy foods. You are learning new hobbies. It's a lot of work to make my home look clean, to make me look clean. I'm busy. I think women feel like they have to provide, bring money, like financially to the table, and a true high value provider man could care less about that. He does not care about your financial situation. We're not having to have some high, crazy career. A provider man wants to provide for his family. He wants his wife to stay home. That is the ultimate goal. That is the ultimate status symbol for him, to say that my wife stays home. So he doesn't want you to be a crazy career woman because you need to stay home and do all these things. You don't have time to do all that if you're working. And I was working. I did not have time for those things.
I feel like this is where things start getting genuinely dangerous, because it would be so easy for a woman to legitimately fall into an relationship by following this advice, but also unrealistic expectations, of course. Most people in this country cannot afford to be a single income household. In most households, women also need to provide financially. We can't all be married to business executives, Courtney. We're all out here struggling, like we're doing what we need to do to survive. And again, this is just her not recognizing the privilege that she has. Also, along the lines of dating advice, Courtney basically suggests here that if you're in a relationship with a burger flipper, even if you're madly in love with him, leave him to find a higher value man.
Marriage, yes, is for love, but for women who want to be a housewife, who want to be a stay-at-home mom, it is very much an economic proposition. Because you can love Joe all day long, but if all he wants to do is sling burgers, he's probably not going to be able to provide you the life you want to stay home and be a housewife. And then, like, at what level do you want to stay home? Do you want to be able to shop at the grocery store you want to shop at? Do you want to be able to get your Botox, go to your workout class, go to lunches and dinners and shop and do the things? Like, pick your level of fun and then find a husband to match it. You have a little bit of a choice in who you love. And so why not find the person who can match the lifestyle that you want? Joe may be the love of your life, but he's going to be over there slinging burgers, and you might marry, Brandon, and you're going to love him a lot. But he's going to provide the lifestyle that you want. And then you're going to love him even more for that. And then he's going to become the love of your life. It's love, but it's also an economic situation.
She says that marriage isn't just love, it's economic, which has never been more true today in the year of our Lord 2025, but not in the way that she explains it. Like, she means it in a traditional way, like the men are the providers and the women are the homemakers, and they stay home and they don't make any money and they raise the kids and blah, blah, blah. No, not today. That's not how it works. And listen, if that's what you want, great. But again, the expectations are unrealistic. And call me naive, but I'm pretty sure it's an important thing to marry someone that you're deeply in love with, because otherwise I feel like you'd be sacrificing your own emotional well-being. Being trapped in a marriage with someone you don't love sounds dangerous. It sounds like something that could not be good for anyone's mental health, because you're sacrificing your own happiness for money, basically. So that's why I feel like this is kind of dangerous advice to be giving, because it sort of sets the scene for women to fall into legitimately and genuinely broken and unhappy marriages. Okay, here's the final princess treatment video that I want to show you. I actually had more saved, but this video is going to be way too long. So finally, Courtney basically says that she controls bedtime in her house with her husband. She says it's weird if you don't go to bed at the same time, because, like, what is he looking at? Which I think we all know she's probably referring to corn. She also worries about who he's texting, which that gives me vibes that she is deeply insecure.
At bedtime, when you're going to bed, no, you are on the same routine. If the lights are out and head is on the pillow, your husband is next to you. This may be controversial, I don't know, but if you are sleeping and your husband is out in the living room watching TV, that is super weird to me. What is he doing in the middle of the night that he needs? No. Like, what is he looking at? Who is he texting? What is he watching? Like, that's freaking weird, suspicious behavior to me.
If you are tired before your spouse is, and you feel the need to force him to go to sleep at the same time that you do, because you're scared that he's gonna be in another part of the house texting another woman, I'm sorry, but you're deeply insecure. Either that, or you're in a relationship with a man who has done this behavior before and has not stopped those behaviors, or you haven't rebuilt that trust yet. I just think Courtney's insecure. But that is also another sign that maybe at one point or another there has been distrust in the relationship. Again, I don't think they're as happy as they want you to think they are. So what is my theory here? My theory is a little bit complicated, so stick with me. If we are to believe that everything Courtney is saying is true, these are behaviors that she partakes in, she does all these things, then she's got some issues, man. I'm not trying to armchair diagnose anybody, but it seems like she has a deep need to be in control of everything around her. I think she desires control of everyone around around her, including her husband. I think she's just very manipulative and borderline evil to be treating the love of her life this way, because she just, in her own words, just randomly started doing it one day and spent the last few years training him. But also, I think this behavior would be a result of her being brought up in Mormonism. Traditional family values get instilled within you so deeply in the Mormon faith. And I think they've all just kind of festered and turned into whatever the this is. And with her husband being ex-Mormon, he probably loves this too, because in Mormonism and I guess other extremely religious households, the men are generally taught that they are the head of the household. They're the ones running things. They're the ones providing money and resources so that the women can stay home and have 8 million babies and raise them. So when people ask if this is, you know, a thing, it definitely could be, but honestly, that is not my first theory. I've also never been involved in any community before, so I know many of you guys have, so I apologize if I'm like totally wrong here, but I don't know. I think it has more to do with traditional family values and her just like having some kind of control issue. But I know my perspective on that specific commentary is not great, admittedly. However, that all being said, my true theory is I think she's full of shit. I don't think she does all the stuff that she says she does. Maybe she did it one time and then like did the story time as if she does it all the time. I think this is essentially rage bait disguised as trad wife content. And why do I say this? Well, it's because of who her husband is. David Palmer is an executive creative director at an advertising agency where he builds brands. This dude knows what works on people. He knows buying habits of the general public, and therefore he knows what it takes to make something successful on the internet. I personally believe that David is far more involved in this whole princess treatment thing than we know. I think he's not only very supportive of Courtney in this, but I think he's heavily involved in planning and making this content as well. And you know what else I think? I think that Courtney decided, because of the Mormon upbringing, like, I want to stay home. I don't think I should have to work anymore. And the Mormonism within them said, yes, okay, that's a good idea, but we are still going to need to bring in money. So what do we do? I think David helped Courtney come up with a plan to quickly grow her internet audience so that she could start bringing in a paycheck from TikTok, which my understanding is it's very hard to do on TikTok. I mean, it's easy to grow a following, but if you're going to make money off of it and like make that your job, my understanding is that's really hard to do because TikTok doesn't pay very much per view. But David would have also seen benefit to this because him being ex-Mormon himself is just like, oh yeah, you get to be the traditional housewife I've always been raised to believe I would have one day. Like, thanks Mormonism. Now, I do genuinely believe that her like daily routines and her schedules and stuff are real. I think that she does genuinely have the interests that she says she does. But I do also think that she has some kind of control issue. Maybe it's OCD or maybe it's narcissism, because she certainly does behave in a way where she feels like the world revolves around her. I think she is deeply insecure, which we'll get more into that in the next part of this video. But we also know she's been trying to curate an online following for at least a decade now with her old fashion blog. And I think she's taken the knowledge that she learned from that time in her life and also the knowledge that her husband has in his day job. I think they've studied online trends together and saw that trad wife content is very, very popular, but they also knew they had to have a controversial something to bring audiences in. So they curated her content in a way where it still features her genuine interests, which are aesthetically pleasing things. Since she used to be an interior designer, people like to watch things that are aesthetically pleasing. She knows this. And then she just like adds the crazy princess treatment videos in on top of all of that because she knows how ridiculous they are, and she knew that eventually one would rage bait enough people that it would push her onto everybody's screens. And it clearly worked. It worked so well, in fact, that she's been interviewed by People magazine and featured in Us Weekly. In her People magazine interview, she says that she was completely blindsided by the intense response that she got when her video went viral. My content was reaching a community of 16,000 followers, and I was grateful to have a very sweet community. All of a sudden, overnight, I thought, oh my gosh, some of these comments are mean. And then I thought, that's okay, it'll run its course within 48 hours. She added, people started to make more videos, and I was completely shocked and felt bad. I didn't mean it like that, and they're missing context from the other videos. I didn't think the backlash would go on for as long as it has. It breaks my heart, and we're all just trying to do our best. Obviously, let me know what you guys think. I'm sure some of you guys will be disagreeing, but I'm interested to hear your perspectives after all of this new context that I just gave you. Now, I want to move into the second topic of this video. This will definitely be shorter than the princess treatment section, but still, I'm issuing a trigger warning for this part. We're gonna be talking about EDs, if you catch my drift, and I'm gonna be showing examples to explain why I think Courtney is struggling with her relationship to food. If this kind of content might make you relapse or something, please, I'm begging you, step away from the rest of this video. Anyway, I'm sure you've noticed that Courtney Joelle Palmer is tiny. You've probably noticed her collarbones and the posture that she contorts herself into to make them stand out, because she does this a lot. You've probably even noticed what appears to be, let's say, observing the way her body looks. I don't want to armchair diagnose her twice in this video, but it's the opinion of myself and many others on the internet that Courtney is struggling with her relationship to food. You may be thinking, wow, Savannah, how dare you judge someone else's body? Some people are just naturally skinny. Maybe she has a high metabolism, but like, here's the thing. I've shown you pictures of her from 10 to 15 years ago. She looked normal and happy and healthy then. Even directly after pregnancy, she looked incredible. I would never refer to her as someone who has ever, at any point in her life, had excess body weight. During her fashion blogging days, I would even say her body looked perfect. But when you compare these photos side by side with photos from today, the difference is staggering, and to me, it's obvious that something is wrong. To go from having an above average looking body that most people strive for to being so skeletal like she is today is honestly shocking and not okay. I understand that EDs are illnesses, and I understand that they often need to be treated in a medical setting or be met with some intervention and rehabilitation. I understand that people who struggle with EDs are legitimately going through a hard time while they're fighting it, and I would never ever ever discount someone's worth or experience or anything like that for having one, in the same way like I don't judge people for addiction and stuff like that. I just want everyone who struggles with their relationship to food to get the help they need, and I want them to be the healthiest version of themselves, including Courtney. But my problem lies when you're someone with an ED who makes content that's basically suggesting to other people that if they want to be like you, then they need to find their way into an ED as well, you know, to preserve your femininity. Whether Courtney wants to admit it or not, she now has influence over thousands of people who genuinely enjoy her content. These people want to take Courtney's advice, and they want to live a lifestyle like hers. It's irresponsible to be making some of the content that she makes, in my opinion. So, let me give you some examples. In the early days of her TikTok career, she would make videos of what she makes for lunch. People would start asking her for what I eat in a day videos, and at first, she would say that she didn't feel comfortable doing that because she did feel like she had a responsibility not to.
I see comments on here like, what do you eat in a day? Like, how do you stay motivated? What do you do to stay slim? I'm so nervous to put that on my page because I don't want anyone to feel like they have to do these things to be a certain way. And I still have such negative mental negativity towards this whole topic. And so I'm not sure like the best way to go about discussing it. It just makes me nervous. I don't overly want to participate.
That was short-lived though, because eventually she did start making what I eat in a day videos, and she's made a lot of them, and most of them are pretty concerning. We're talking like probably less than 1,000 calories per day for many of these days. But first, let me show you some of the videos of her making lunch. Specifically, this is one of her go-to lunches that I've seen her put in multiple videos. It's basically a yogurt parfait for lunch, and don't get me wrong, I'd eat the ever-loving hell out of that. It looks delicious, but I would eat that for breakfast, man, and then I would probably need a snack in between this and lunch. That would not fuel me for lunch though. I would definitely need something more substantial than that. This meal in particular has more carbs in that granola than I regularly see her eat, making this meal one of the better ones that she makes. Even then though, it's not much. She says in this video that she's been out running errands all morning and she's exhausted. Well, yeah, maybe it's because your body needs more fat, carbs, and protein. Here's another example. On this day, she had avocado toast for lunch. Again, I love avocado toast and I often have it, again, for breakfast. But even then, I would add a fried egg on top for some protein. She does mention in this video, sometimes I'll add an egg, but then she says, but most of the time it's just this. Literally a slice of toast, half an avocado, salt and pepper. Another video, she adds a squeeze of lemon juice to it. Oh, wow! She also will normally have a Diet Coke on the side. She drinks a lot of Diet Coke, as if she needs to be drinking diet soda. Now, I know some people have a preference for diet soda over regular soda, so I get it, but still, this is the most boring avocado toast I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I would still eat it because I love avocado, but dear God. Sure, you get some fat and carbs in this meal, but there's basically no protein. One more example, and this one just made me lose my mind. It's a handful of dry spinach with a scoop of leftover fajita veggies on top of it from the night before. And that's it. Not even dressing on the spinach. Like, no oil or vinegar, something. Look at it, it's dry. And this lunch can't be more than like 200 calories, man. The most concerning thing to me is that she says she does Pilates almost every day for 45 minutes per day, but I'm sure you've noticed that she has zero muscle tone. She needs to eat more if she works out for 45 minutes a day and spends every morning running around doing errands. Her body is clearly screaming for more sustenance. Now, if she were eating this way like maybe 5 times a day, I would be like, okay, well maybe that's not terrible. But once she started making her what I eat in a day videos, it's clear that that's not happening. She's not fueling her body enough for her level of activity, period. But okay, let's watch some examples of her what I eat in a day videos. So she usually starts every day with a tea. Most often it's this Sakara detox tea that's apparently not even sold anymore, but whatever. Then she has some cut up pineapple for breakfast. Most mornings she'll go out for a whole milk latte. Some days she has 2 lattes, but this time she only had 1. Then her lunch is weird. Cottage cheese, an avocado, some blueberries, bell peppers, and a handful of greens with no seasoning or dressing. Her dinner was an omelet and more greens tossed in lemon juice and salt and pepper this time. And then every day she has her husband serve her lemon tea, which is just lemon juice mixed with hot water. Let's see one more example. This day she has her signature detox tea. For breakfast she has cottage cheese and berries. Then she has her signature latte, which she hilariously says it's a great source of protein.
I get this basically every single day, and it's a great source of protein because I get whole milk.
What? Courtney, stop. Also, apparently skim milk and whole milk have the same amount of protein in it, just whole milk has more fat. So, I mean, at least she's not skimping on the fat content there. For lunch, she has what she calls like a deconstructed gyro. She bakes a chicken breast and serves it alongside unseasoned, undressed lettuce, cucumber, feta, and tzatziki. Then for dinner, she surprisingly has pasta with more chicken breast and steamed broccoli. And then she has some chocolate ice cream and her signature lemon tea. So I know what you're probably thinking. That's not nothing. At least she's eating, and the things she's eating seem pretty healthy, and a lot of it looks pretty good. And some of that I agree, sure. For the average person who might be trying to put themselves into a calorie deficit. Like, if you are trying to lose weight, this diet probably would be fine for you. If you are working in an office job and you're sitting in a chair all day and you don't get a lot of activity, sure, this could probably work out for you too. I don't know. I'm not a dietitian and I'm not recommending that you eat this way. I'm just saying plenty of us have enough body fat that being in a calorie deficit wouldn't be too detrimental for a period of time anyway. This isn't a forever diet for sure. And I admit that I would eat a lot of the stuff that she showcases here happily. However, Courtney has like negative 5% body fat. She is active. She does Pilates every day. She leaves her house every day to run around and go do grocery shopping and run errands and sometimes even just go for a walk. I just truly do not think that this is enough food to fuel her in her normal daily routine. I think adding more snacks in throughout the day could be beneficial to her, but she does not look healthy. She looks sick. I'm sorry. I know that might sound harsh and judgy, but again, she has influence over people. And this diet is not going to be suitable for everybody, especially with a BMI like her. Interestingly enough, she often mentions at the beginning of her What I Eat in a Day videos that she's trying to maintain her current physique. Sometimes she goes into more detail saying things like, I really don't want to lose more weight, as if she has any more weight to lose. And then she'll also say like, I'm not trying to gain any muscle.
Here's everything I eat in the day as a mom in her 30s trying to maintain current physique. I say maintain because I'm not really looking to lose any weight and I'm not trying to gain any muscle. So at this point in my journey, I'm really just trying to maintain what I've worked hard to. So some days I may eat less and some days I may eat more.
I mean, if I had her BMI, I would certainly want to bulk up, but I understand that's not my body, you know, her body, her choice or whatever. I just find it really concerning with how much Pilates she does that she has like zero muscle tone. The other thing she says she does is she tries to drink 160 ounces of water every day in the form of 4 40-ounce Stanley cups every single day. And that's wild. Most of us need to drink more water than we do, but this just seems like a method for her to silence her hunger cues by drinking more water than necessary. In one video, she says it's really hard to overhydrate your body, when like, no, it's really not.
The comments on my water intake are actually, it's crazy. It's so funny because I added in the water to my what I eat in the days because I was getting so many crazy comments about my eating, and I was like, oh, like, look, I'm actually drinking all this water, I'm healthy. And that's like, I just don't think you can actually overhydrate your body. It would be really, really, really hard to overhydrate.
Water intoxication is a real thing, and as a child of the early 2000s, I specifically remember that one woman who was trying to win a Wii for her kids on a radio station, where they held a contest that was like, whoever drinks the most water wins, but then she literally died. And while that's an extreme example, it happens, man. 160 ounces of water per day is probably not even something that like most professional athletes drink. For Courtney to make that her daily water intake goal, it's just unnecessary. Like, she must pee so much, dude. Finally, I also found this video where she says she's been on a weight loss journey her entire life.
I have been on a health, like, wellness, weight loss journey, basically like what I would say like my whole life. And I have recently, within the past year, have hit and maintained my goal weight.
I'm sorry, we saw what she looked like 10 years ago, and 10 years ago, she definitely did not look like she needed to lose any weight at all. I find it odd that she felt the need to go on an entire weight loss journey. Also in this video, she mentions that she goes to a functional doctor, which surprises none of us because we know that she used to be a doTERRA girly back in the day. And a lot of functional medicine doctors value skinniness over any sort of body fat, so whoever she's seeing is probably just being like, no, you look great, you look healthy, you keep doing what you're doing. They're probably just hyping her up and telling her she's in great shape, honestly. It's just so dangerous, dude, especially when you have an audience of people who actually find value in your advice. In the end, I've come to the conclusion that Courtney Joelle Palmer is a deeply troubled individual in more ways than one. I think she's desperate for attention, desperate for fame and an audience, and has serious issues in her self-confidence, made evident by her having the need to be in control of everything and everyone around her. I think this need for control bleeds into her diet, and I think that if she has found a diet to help her maintain her tiny, fragile physique, that helps her feel more in control of herself and her body image. I also think the virality of the princess treatment content was her goal this entire time, but her apparent lack of confidence caused her to hide away for a few days and delete her TikTok because she wasn't prepared to become the internet's flavor of the week. And I think her husband played a pivotal role in convincing her to keep going. I honestly think she needs help with her eating habits, but if she can do that, I hope that she keeps going because the bulk of her content really isn't too harmful outside of the usual issues with trad wife content. While the one viral princess treatment video seemed to showcase women making themselves smaller and quieter, all of the other ones seem to do the opposite by influencing women to put themselves first, which can be empowering, but the way she does it is pretty toxic and inconsiderate to everyone else around her. But ultimately, some women do want to live this trad wife lifestyle, and that's fine by me if that's what the woman wants and that it isn't being forced on her, as long as she's not affecting other people while she's doing it, of course. And that's all I have for you guys today, so before we end it here, I do have to say thank you to a few people. First of all, thank you to Factor for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget, I've been sipping on this bad boy the whole time, almost done. Go to factor75.com and use the code 50SavannahMarie to get 50% off your first Factor box. Again, code 50SavannahMarie at factor75.com. 50% off your first Factor box. Do the thing. You'll love Factor. Factor's really yummy. And now I have to thank my patrons and my members, guys. The list of names I'm about to read off are my financial supporters. They get access to things like our private Discord server. We have a postcard club, early access to videos whenever I'm able to give them to you, and sometimes even more than that. So if any of that sounds good to you, you can go to patreon.com/SavannahMarie, or you can click the join button beneath this video to join my YouTube memberships. Just whatever platform you want to join on. Works for me if it works for you. So with that, the biggest thank you in the whole wide world goes to RC's Jewelry Design by Amber, AJC, Luciana Valiente, Emily Jean, Miss Blue, Hannah Moe, Alex Gollum, Love to Be Evil, Liz Sahu, Charcity, Evan Adler, Kelsey Nicole, LaSalle Story, Fluffy Duck Butt 24 Elaine, Ferd Turgeson Esquire, Just Mark, Baby Pink Pearl, Alice Wagner, Valen Harris, Jessica Billhart, Emion, Hula Chowdown, Jacqueline Nutton, Kessie Drew, KJ Barnes, Leanne, Marie Silver, Bug, Caroline Reed, Daniel Urena, Maddie Darley, and Ray. And to the rest of my financial supporters, thank you so much for being here and being you. And even if you're not a financial supporter, thanks for making it to the end of this video. YouTube loves watch time. They love it when you just sit and watch through an entire video. So if you're here, thank you. I appreciate it. And with that, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!